Hey, everybody. It is Kendall Anisha, Fave Life Coach, the Remix Coach. And I'm so happy right now. Let me tag because I got a guest coming. So let me tag her right now because we're going to be talking about last night's episode of Grown Woman Energy. My girl had a lot of great comments and she doesn't know it, but I want to spotlight her in the She Still Got It segment that we did from the show. That was just a part of the show that I did to celebrate other women who still got it over 50. So grown woman energy is real talk, real grown, real good. It's celebrating women over 50, a talk show that I created that I had in my heart space in my mind for quite some time. And it became reality when you all got to see it last night. When I tell you the joy, and it's not easy doing all of that, like writing the show, executive producing the show, casting the show, doing this, doing that. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I didn't just have to show up, but I did still have to show up. And for you all to receive what was in my head and heart, and to have two amazing women with me, Sheila and Regina, that said, yes, we are going to be a part of this vision. And it was just amazing. Like it really was amazing. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful. And I want to just tag her real quick so she can get the love. And then I'm going to introduce her. Her energy last night was fire. It was fire because she was like, listen, this, and this, and this. And if you know one thing about her, she's going to be detailed. She's going to break it down. She's going to tell you how she liked it, what she liked, and she is going to express it. If you don't believe me, like what they say, if you don't believe me, just watch. She is the joy inspirer, and that's what she gives. She's one of my homegirls from South Jersey. We had a show called Jersey Girls where we talked about just all kind of things because we're both over our 50s. Our birthdays are a day apart. And she's definitely a twin spirit. But I wanted her to come on here just to talk about yesterday's show because, well, you know what? I'm gonna introduce Ahisha Kalima and I'm gonna let her tell you what she had told me about yesterday's show because I'm still like on 100. Ahisha Kalima.
Woo! First of all, this is what I gotta do. I gotta do this. I want my sister to get her flowers now. That show was outstanding. I am so over the top proud of you, sis. Like right here, right here. You did it. And you made it so amazing and so beautiful and so comprehensive. And I get emotional just thinking of my sister and watching her shine. Like it was beautiful. Oh, excuse me, it was so beautiful. I just had to. Mm, mm, mm.
Girl, you about to make me cry all over again. Thank you so much, and thank you for your excitement. Thank you for your spirit and all the comments. Like I couldn't even keep up with all your comments. What were some of the things that, other than you being proud of me, which I
Yeah, that alone just made me so emotional.
for me,
Yes,
I appreciate that because that's what it's about, watching our sisters shine. Because
yes,
your book
absolutely.
came out. I was like, that's crazy. That's
Yes, yes,
original. I ain't never seen. You know what I mean? We celebrate each other, and that's what the show is about. So tell me
absolutely.
the comments that you had. Girl, you gonna have me crying.
Right, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't even expect to feel that emotion. I wanted to clap for my sister, but when you see people and you know how difficult this can be, right? To get people to want to engage and to the hard work that they don't know because you just come on screen and you make it look so easy, right? And they have no idea the sacrifices, the struggle, the fear, I'm putting this together and what if nobody likes it? But you step out there on faith and you do your thing, and it was amazing. It was well put together. It was informative. Like I didn't feel like I was watching something like, okay, just somebody doing another talk show. Like I was like, no, this right here is fire. This right here is helpful to us. It was inspiring. It was informative. It was so professional. Like so professional. I'm like, come on now, y'all. This is amazing. Amazing.
And I so appreciate that because you was like, oh, I'm gonna be tuned in. And
Oh,
you was
absolutely.
and I love it. I love your rose and your flower in your hair. I
I
love
gotta
it.
keep my yellow going some kind of way.
Yes, yes, yes. Because you are the joy inspirer and you do, you bring joy and you celebrate other women. And that's what it's about this myth that women don't support other women or can't get along, or you rather have male friends and women friends because
Hmm.
of how catty or how unsupportive or non-committal that some women can be. You're a prime example of what this show is about, and I'm definitely the next season going to have you on as a guest, 100%,
And I'll be
because
so honored.
yes, because you have supported me, my conversations with Kendall and East, my tea party, you were there, we did the show together. You've been on all my platforms, and celebrating one another and your like bountiful leaps and just really understanding who you are as a woman and becoming your own as a woman, and just you creating things because you're a creative as well, just creating things in that book. I want to talk about before I do that. Well, let's just get right into it. Let's
All
just
right.
let's so let yesterday because we're going to do it in this segment. So last night and on all of the shows, I thought it was important to celebrate women over 50, not just the co-host, not just random people, but the guest is specific. It had to be a guest who was over 50
Right.
and
Right.
called You Still Got It, right? Because sometimes people think that they lost it themselves, or the world will tell them they don't still have it because they've reached a
Hmm.
certain age. But I wanted to spotlight. So it's the grown woman spotlight. She still got it. Tell me
Yes.
how you still got it. Because I can tell them how you still got it, but I want you to tell them how you still got it.
Right.
I wear my classic shirt because we're not older, we're classic.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, Kendall, there was something you said on your show last night that hit me so hard for any woman who is just now starting something in their life, right? Because we can feel like not even so much that we're too old, but like, oh, everybody's doing it. Like I'm too late, right? And you said something about this particular show, and you said I wanted to start it last year. I remember you said that on the show. I wanted to start this last year, but timing is everything. And sometimes we can get so afraid to make that move for whatever reason. Oh, we feel too old, we feel too late, or whatever it is. And you said it. Timing is everything, and never feel like as long as you got breath, it's never too late. As long as
Yes.
you can open your eyes and see a new day, it's
Yes.
never too late. And I just felt like that was a big message that was said last night from all three of the women. It's just never too late to get started on something.
No.
Yeah, not at
No.
all.
It's
Yeah,
not. It's not. And even in this sis, you still got it. You still celebrating other women. That's what I'm talking about.
absolutely.
So
And you
tell
have
me
to.
how Ahisha Kalima still has it. And what are you doing in your 50s that people would be surprised that you're doing? Like, what? You taking these leaps and bounds at 50 plus?
Right. So I'm going to do two things. One is physical and one is, I guess you would say aspirational, right? So
Mhm.
something that I started in my 50s, that's something I wanted to do my whole life, right? But when I was younger, there were too many taboos, or I cared what people thought about it. And you know how we are, like, oh, my mom won't like it, or my friends won't like it, or the church won't like it. But I started pole fitness in my 50s.
Mhm.
And it has been the most amazing experience, not just emotionally and mentally, but overcoming a taboo, but physically. To do pole at 50 something years old, let me tell you, Kendall, we love to dance. This ain't dancing. This is not the same thing.
Oh,
This is
that's no joke.
this is physical effort. This is like something I never experienced in my life. And it was such a freeing thing to do at this particular age when all of the insecurities of being 50 could come into play about this. Like, I'm way too late to do pole dancing, way too late. And I wasn't. And I was good at it. And so when your guest the other day, yesterday said about her getting into her dancing, her African dance at this age, that's that's powerful. That's so powerful. And so many women, when they hear that I'm doing it, say, I want to do that too. And these are women in their 50s and 60s to be able to say you are hashtag never too old to pole.
Never too old. To
Never too old to pole.
I'm going to say this. I remember when you started doing the pole dancing exercise. No, she's not doing it for money. She's not doing it
Right.
for a little change.
And not that I have any judgment on anybody who is doing it for money, because listen,
That part.
it's a work. It's work.
That part. I remember when you started it, and I remember you had a little bit of insecurities and you weren't sure how it was looking or how you were looking. And then as you progressed, you got so comfortable in your
Yes.
skin over 50, where you were posting, where you were wearing your outfits, where you were doing it. Where did that confidence come from? And I want to say this. I tried a pole exercise class. It ain't for the week. It was a chair dance class and a pole dance class. That chair dance, I had that on lock. That pole, let me clap for the people who do it for a living or who do it all the time. It's a strength. It's a strength in your arms, and for you to be able to do that, what gave you the confidence not only to do it, but the confidence to say, I'm going to do it boldly, I'm going to do it in my 50s, and I'm going to do it, and I don't care what other people say, because I saw your confidence grow. What gave you the confidence to say, I'm going to do it?
Well, first of all, I love to dance. Like, dancing has been a passion of mine since I was a little girl. Like, I think if I could have been a professional dancer, I probably would have tried to become that. But it was just, first of all, the love of it, right? And I tried it at 40. And at 40, I gave up. I was like, no, I'm not good. I can't do this. I'm out of shape.
I'm going to pause you. You inspiring women already. Sonia said, ooh, sign me up.
Listen, I'm telling you, like ladies, don't let anything stop you. Don't let anybody say, oh, you can't, you shouldn't. It's taboo. It's the most amazing feeling. I walk into a playground and let me see a pole. I'm on it. Like, it's the wildest thing. Like, you can't even resist it. And what gave me the confidence was just not caring, getting to that age of not caring what other people thought. Because that's the only thing that stopped me, was what other people were going to think. It's risque. Is she doing it for money? Is she taking off her clothes? Just caring what people think. And that was it. When I went into those classes with 20-something-year-old women and was able to say, I'm 50-something, I'm about to do this, and see them encouraged by it as well, that's what did it. That's what did it. And then to post it and open myself up to have people either say, go for it, or is she crazy? She's 50-something. I didn't care anymore. That's what turning 50 did for me. I just didn't care anymore.
Yes.
I cared about my own happiness.
I remember, and that's so key. She said she cares about her own happiness. Because I remember when you started, you were like, and then, right, because you don't know. And a lot of times, as much as we want to say we don't care what other people think, there's some part of us that does care with what other people think.
Absolutely.
And it does prohibit us from doing the things we love. I mean, I always cared about what my mom thought, right?
Oh, yeah.
I always had her in the back of my mind. So it's a lot of things that I might have wanted to do. I've done a lot, but it's certain things I'm like, I don't know. Even
right.
last night,
you were raised that way, so to speak. Yeah.
Because even last night with the show, when I said the word sexy, I'm like, oh, I remember, and it's a word, but you think about it. Oh, my mom watching, I'm talking about sexy.
Right. Yes.
54 years old. So you do have a piece of that. So I totally understand. You're also moving to a different state.
Yes, and that even that has some new challenges, because I've decided to do, okay, so at 50-something years old, right, I am no longer into extreme things. I don't want to be extremely cold. I don't want to be extremely hot, right? I feel like I'm in my season of life to kind of make some choices on my own. So I've decided to spend my summer in a cold state and my winter in a hot state. And life has given me the opportunity to do that. So yes, I am moving twice this year.
Let's talk about it.
So I'm going to be moving to spend my summer in Connecticut, and I'm going to be spending my winters in New Orleans. And as a Gemini, the diversity of those two places is like heaven.
Yeah. And in your 50s, because I can keep your age, so I'll be 54, so you'll be 53.
Yes.
Both our birthdays are a day apart. Did you have any apprehension at this stage in the game? Like, and tell me what the apprehension was and why.
So I'm going to say yes to the apprehension, but very little at this age because again, it's all about not caring what people think. My only apprehension was like I'm a grandmother now, right? I'm a pole dancing grandmother, and so my apprehension
You
was
need to change your tag. You need to change your handle on Instagram.
the pole dancing granny.
You need to change it. I'm here for it. I'm living for it right now.
You know, my biggest apprehension was I have these grandchildren who are phenomenal and so just growing up to be these cute little ladies, and you know, I didn't want to miss out on that. Like, what am I gonna do, right? If I move that far away. But that was really my only apprehension because the idea of going to someplace new where I don't know anybody is any Gemini, you're excited about it, right? You're just like, I'm gonna make it do what it do. So there wasn't that apprehension of like I'm gonna be in a new place. The apprehension came in with my grandbabies because I think like it's so important. You know, you said something on the show the other day that we're at that stage of our life we're facing like we may not be here much longer, right? That's just a reality. We could live another 50 years, another 10 years, another 15 years. We're just at that stage of life. And so wanting to be in their lives and make an impact on them in case tomorrow I'm not here, they're gonna like, I remember that lady, I remember my Grammy. You know, those things are important, and so that was my biggest apprehension. And so I'm glad I kind of got the freedom to split my year the way I want to.
Yes, like my granny. Oh, she was on that pole when she was working out.
Listen, I want them to tell those phenomenal stories about me, though. I want them to be proud to say my grandma lived her best life. She didn't care what anybody said.
Exactly. But the thing is, if they say anything, right, they're going to say that my grandmother was free.
Yes. Yes. And that's important.
Because you can leave that kind of legacy, you know, of being free, being who you are in yourself, because a lot of times, especially in our generation, it took longer for us to grow into ourselves. It took longer for us to be comfortable and free and say, this is me, I'm going to do this, I'm not going to live for everyone else. Where I see the newer generations, they coming out the gate like, listen here, I don't like it. Step off my boundaries, you know, my personal space. They have the language and the tools now to say, in elementary school, right? They will say, they will tell me, they were like, she's not respecting my boundaries. 3rd grade. She's not respecting my boundaries. I asked her to get out of my personal space. This is the language. So they know the language. When you talk about the millennials and down, they know.
These kids are coming out the gate on TikTok and the computers and things. I remember my goddaughter at 1 year old was FaceTime and I hadn't even figured it out. I was like, wait, how do you do that?
So we're that generation in the middle. We're not obviously the baby boomers, right? And we're Generation X. I always remember by going, I am Malcolm X, but because I used to ask my daughter, I was like, what generation are we again? She'd be like, Mom, X. So I just remember X, but it's where
X marks the spot.
It's the baby boomers, then it's the generation that right after that, and then it's us. So we still have part of that. We're like in the middle.
Right. Yeah.
We're easily, like, we will listen to the millennials. We will do things differently. We change the narratives in our family. We're still in that generation as well. We're not totally like, this is what we do, I'm stuck in my way. We're still in the middle. And I love that. And we can take a note out of younger women's handbook to say,
absolutely,
you know what, live your life. Don't care what people think. Them younger ones, they not sitting in no job for 30 years, get a watch, pass away, and then that's their legacy. They're not doing that anymore.
Oh no.
These young ones be like a year, be like, oh no, 6 months, this ain't work, got to go.
Right, this is not flourishing my soul.
That way.
Yeah.
Right. And they're freer. They're much freer.
Absolutely.
So it's what do you think? That's how I feel as well. To me, it said yes. So what do you think of the changes that you have made in your 50s? Like, what do you see the difference between Ahisha in her 30s and Ahisha in her 50s? What's the biggest difference you see?
Here's the biggest difference, and you already said the word, the narrative. The narrative has changed. My
Mm-hmm.
daughter said something to me the other day. She was just happened to be telling me about her life, and I don't know what her expectation was of my response, but it wasn't by what she said, it wasn't. She said, Mom, I'm here to inspire you on the decisions that you're making for your life. I think that that's the biggest thing, that turning 50 and being Generation X marks the spot. This is the
Yes.
spot where you change the narrative, right? You know,
Yeah.
you ask me what's another way that I'm changing or doing in my life at 50s, and it is helping women to change the narrative of their story. Like I was telling my daughter a story the other day that would have normally made me cry, feel embarrassed, ashamed, and yet we were crying, laughing over it because
Yeah.
the reality is now that I've lived through that. That's nothing that has to make me cry or feel ashamed. That was a part of the life that I lived. And nor will I take that same embarrassment and guilt and put it on my daughter or either one of my children for that matter. Live your life. This is your life to cultivate, to form, to make it whatever you want. It is not my job to make you feel bad about any of the decisions that you make for you. Right or wrong. Only you can
That
decide if they're right or wrong for your life. But
that
how dare
part.
I judge her when I know that I've lived this life that has been all kinds of things.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. And I
yeah.
think
You
it's
just
so important
change the narrative.
because yeah, I love that because you know we do come from a generation or parents who said, don't tell everything, don't let your left hand know
What
what your
happens in
right
this
hand
house
is
stays in
doing.
this house.
Right. Whatever happens in this house stays in this house, or, keep the family business private and all push it under the rug. That's the generations that we come from. But changing that narrative, and I remember Iyanla said every woman needs to tell their daughters their woman story, right?
Yes.
I know my mom's woman story, like over the years, little by little, and then more and more and more and more. I know her story and I understand. My kids have always known my story, but I
Right.
started telling them my story when my oldest daughter be like, Mom, because that's what because you perfect and blah 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 and you did. And I was like, no, I wasn't. Let me share some things. And that was younger,
Right.
and they know everything about me. They know everything. I
Right.
go to
Yeah.
tell them a
Yeah.
story, they be like, Mom, we already know. I'm like, I'm just making sure y'all know because that's what we have to do. We have to give our daughters, whether we birth them or not, the younger generation, our stories to learn, right? And
Right.
to
And the
teach. And
freedom
that's
to
what
be.
grown woman energy is about. A different narrative. And it's the people on it are 50 and over. The guests will be 50 and over. But if you're blessed enough, like I said in the show, you will be 50. So let me give you some tools. Let me drop some nuggets and gems. Let me show you that it's lit over here. Let me show you that we good over here.
It's wonderful. It's just so it's so glorious, right? Like everybody says. I remember when I had a wedding, right, and I had set all my guests by either similarities of being single or
Wait,
the age
let's just
group, you know.
pause. Let's just pause. Well, you said, I remember I had a wedding. That's how I be feeling. I remember I had this wedding, right? And
It was it was such a
we
long
was,
time ago. It was a different
we was
lifestyle. It was a different person. Listen, now, do you feel like you've lived different lifetimes at this age? Like, oh no, that was my 20-year-old life. That was my 30-year-old life. That was
yes,
somebody different. That was a totally different
yes.
person.
That's why when you That's why when you said it, when you was like, yeah, that's just part of my story. I had this wedding, right? Where you
I
just
had this
kind of
wedding.
slide to the because I feel that way too. It's
Yeah,
like so many little pockets of life. It's like you just go right past
right. And I'm telling somebody else's story. So my point is, I had this
it.
table where everybody at the table was 70 and up. That was the livest table at my wedding. Like that was the table I had to come over and be like, hey, y'all gotta settle down because they did not care. Like the conversation at that table was so astounding. Like these are people who were like, I might not be here tomorrow. This might be my last event. You know what I mean? I'm here to have a ball. These 70 plus people were turned up, like totally turned up. They did not care what we thought of them. They did not care whether they were supposed to be, elegant. They didn't care. Did not care. I said, that's how I want to be. That's how I want to be. I don't want to care anymore. It was, listen, they were drunk. They didn't care. And y'all better take care of us and make sure we're safe.
I can't even catch my breath.
It was
Catch
crazy.
your
It was
breath.
crazy.
You had to go over to reprimand the 70s.
Y'all not over here. What's going on? So listen, the walkers and the wheelchairs was wheeling, okay? But again, like I was in my 30s going, I want to be like that.
Oh my God, girl. I got tears in my eyes.
But that's what comes from changing the narrative of your story, which is something that I'm so about now, because we got to stop telling these stories like we're victims, right? We've lived them. We got to tell the story from a survivor's perspective. They funny now. It's funny some of the stuff I've gone through. It's funny the people that I've cried over. It's funny the jobs that I was upset over. That stuff is funny now because it's funny that I let some of the things bother me that bothered me. So it's time to tell the story differently. And so I'm creating something to help women tell their story from a different perspective, from the perspective of now and not then. Because that matters.
Girl,
some of y'all are still telling your then story, like you still in it, like you still living it.
You just tore my whole insides up. You just hit me to the core. It is funny. Like the meme said, it's not, it's funny. Ha ha, funny. It's funny. Because
funny. I'm talking tears out my eyes funny. Like I really cried about that. I really was upset about that. Really was devastated. It's funny. I remember my mother.
Let's just take a moment of silence for that.
You got to check yourself on that kind of stuff. Yeah. Because real stuff is going on in this life, and we're still so caught on the stuff that doesn't even matter anymore. Like your friend said on the show last night, she right now she's dealing with, how do I navigate this life without a mom? That's real right there.
Real.
Not some guy I don't remember.
Oh.
That's what's real.
Oh.
How do I navigate this? I'm a mother and a grandmother myself. Now I got to navigate without my mom.
Oh, you said, and not some guy you can't remember.
I remember my mother said, "You want to remember his name, Mommy? I'll never forget this person." I could not call a name if I tried.
Yeah, and then don't think about
dude.
The last name.
That dude.
The last name, you'd be like, what was his middle name again? Where you used to know it and write it down. Now you'd be like, whoop.
And had my name in there with it. I'm Mrs. So-and-so. Couldn't tell you who I doodled in junior high school. Come on.
The one I can remember I did when I was in elementary school was Bobby Brown. In junior high, it was Kendall and Bobby Brown. I still remember that name. How about that?
And that's only because he's still known. That's only because he's still known.
I see him, honey. When I tell you, and it's funny because they be remembering your name, because honey, they be in them DMs trying to circle the block, trying to spin the block, trying to do all
watching
of that.
You shine and grow and glow.
That part, and then you be like, oh, okay, oh yeah, because I did. People remember what they want to remember.
Absolutely, and Kendall, I feel like you said something too about how Generation X is right in the middle, right? We're not as old-fashioned and stuck in our ways as our parents were, right? But we still have so many lessons inside of us to give to the younger generations. Like lots of them, I remember, my daughter being a mother now, because when your kids become a mom, it's a totally different relationship, because they're like, oh, that mom stuff wasn't easy. All the stuff I judged you about, Mom, I'll take it back. I take it back, right? But it is something beautiful to be able to know that you've lived a life, that you now have something to offer to somebody, that it wasn't wasteful. I didn't go through this life for the sake of just having a story, but this story matters and it means something. For my daughter to be able to come and sit with me and walk away knowing that she got something that was valuable to her life. This is the time where being a mom is the most important. It wasn't when she was little.
Yes. I
The
want to
school was
mention
involved in, all
yeah,
these other influences. Yeah, this is now. This is
yeah,
when being a mom is like the best part.
yeah. And speaking of that, I want to read this comment from my girl Tamia. Now we've been thick as thieves since junior high school. That's my girl. She said,
Yeah.
and I want to talk about mothers and sons because she has a son. And she said, I actually just shared with my
Oh,
son,
me too.
and it was a total breakthrough for our relationship. Because you know why, Tamia, and you probably already know this, but they get to see you as a woman, as a young girl, because when you think of mom, you think of this is supposed to be this authority figure, this is supposed to be the one who does this, is supposed to be it's a laundry list of things and expectations that they have as a mother that you're supposed to do and you're supposed to
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
you're supposed to show up like this. But when he can see you as a woman, he can see you as fallible, not making mistakes, learning from your mistakes,
Yes.
bumping your head, and he gets a better understanding. I love that for y'all. I love that.
Yes, absolutely. And that son mother relationship is like, I wouldn't say it's more difficult, but like my daughter, I can talk to her about, being a mom or female things or having a cycle and, things like that. But with your son, it's like, well, I don't really want to talk about menopause with them, and so having those breakthrough conversations with your male child, yeah, that really hits different. It really
Yeah,
does.
I love
Yeah.
that. And that's what we have
Kudos
to
to you.
do.
Yeah.
Yes, Tamia, I love that because I know that they have struggled back and forth with their relationship. And as
Hmm.
often,
Hmm.
I know we've talked about it with you, even struggles that you've had, with your daughters. You want to talk a little bit about that and what being in your 50s has taught you about motherhood and how you mothered them?
Yeah, so mothering in your 50s is so different because when you're younger, you are still trying to figure it out, right? I think like that's where my daughter's finding herself like, oh, I thought I was already going to know these things and I don't. Oh, I thought my mother knew those things at this age and she didn't. That's the reality that she's facing now. Like I thought as soon as you became a mother, you just knew these things, but you don't, you know. And so at 50 something, I'm way more slowed down as a mom. I'm way more confident as a mother. I don't second guess my past anymore because my past is just what it was. It was a learning time, right? Especially with your oldest child. Like your oldest child is your student, is your teacher.
I
Your
was the oldest child, and I feel like
So
that.
was
It was
I.
a video on TikTok, and it said, "Can we give a hug to all
To the
the oldest
oldest
daughters?"
child.
It was like, and she specifically said daughters, and she said, "Can we give a hug to all the oldest daughters because we need one?" And
Yeah,
I was
and
like,
the sons too, because I feel like the sons may even have it harder because they're taught to be the protector and this, but you're also the kid in the house, and your mom is not coming to you as the man of the house. There's all of those
that
type of
part, that
dynamics.
baby
Yeah,
boy syndrome, where you
right,
think that
right.
the son is the husband or you're the protector. Why would you put a 5-year-old in that position to say you're the protector of the house?
No,
You're the protector, and you're treating the son like your man.
right,
That's
right.
bull
Yeah, yeah,
part.
yeah. Or just, like I hear a lot of single women say, I'm the mother and the father, something that I don't agree with. I was a single mother, but I was only a mother. I was never a father.
I agree.
My children
Yeah,
were very blessed to have their fathers, but even if they didn't have their fathers in their life, I still was not their father. I could
that's right.
only be their mother. That was the only
Yep.
thing I knew how to be. That was the only thing
Yep.
I was born to be. That was the only thing I was designed to be. So
Yep.
I did not try to teach my son how to be a man based on a female's perspective.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
I love
I could have been like, this is how you treat a woman, and this is what you do to a woman. But all of that would have been my personal opinion and had nothing to do with him being a man.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
and
And
so
so,
that's where I'm at 50 years old of understanding no regrets,
yes,
black, no take back. I can't take back anything I did as their
that's right.
mother when they were younger, so I no longer try to fix that.
That's
It
right.
it was what it was. I can't even answer for that. Like I remember one time I went through something with my son where he wanted to have that open conversation of why you did things you did 20 years ago. And I had to be totally honest with him and say, I don't know. I would have to be 20 years old to answer that because
Ooh,
two things are going to happen. One is I'm going to answer it as a 50 something year old woman. And two
ooh,
is I'm not going to remember half the stuff you ask me about.
ooh. Woo,
That's
that's
reality.
that's real.
That
And
is as real as it gets. It's not a cop out. You want me to remember why I did something at 20. The 20-year-old girl was afraid, didn't know. Maybe she just guessed. I probably just guessed. I probably said, I don't know. I'm just going to do this. Pick one, pick one, and hope it comes out okay. At 50, I can look back and
you
go,
were like this, eeny, meeny,
eeny, meeny, miny, moe. I hope this kid comes out okay. Sorry. Like, I don't apologize for that because there is nothing to apologize for. I was doing what I knew best to do at the moment. And then I lost my mom early. I didn't have my mom to go, hey, mom, how do I do this? What do I do? This kid's asking for this or doing this. I didn't have no support during the teenage years. So it was me and your dad, like winging that. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, hey, they got fathers. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sonia. They have fathers, and I depended on their dads. I did not
yeah.
try to do that by myself.
But that's real, and that's the realness though that we need
Yeah,
to like. I talk to my kids real because that's what they need. They don't need a made up story, a pretend package in a bow, wrapped in a bow. You got to keep it real. And when
right.
sometimes you say, I don't know, or I apologize. I remember my daughter, my oldest daughter, Aaliyah, she saw it was on TikTok and they were talking about how Black moms don't apologize. And she said she couldn't jump on that train. She said, because I have apologized. Like if I do anything and if my daughters express it or whatever, I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. Or if
Right.
anything, if I feel like I'm sorry, I apologize. Because I don't know what this thing is with some Black mamas where they won't apologize to their children.
Right.
I understand what that pride is about, what that perfection stance is about, but we're all just doing, as a life coach, I talk about it all the time. We're just children in adult bodies, right? We're living
Yes.
through trauma in our own experiences, and then people are having children. My mom raised me with her trauma. I raised my kids with my trauma. My kids
Right.
want to raise their kids with their trauma, but it's about leaving the legacy of healing, leaving the
Yes.
legacy of
Yes.
um, therapy and being the best versions of ourselves and having open dialogue and conversation. It has to
Yeah.
be a time where we stop sweeping things under the rug and give the real. All right, as we wind down on this, what was your greatest takeaway from last night's show? And everybody, I'm definitely going to put the link in this body of what do I want to say? In the body of this video, so you guys can click it and watch it. If you missed Grown Woman Energy, yesterday was episode 1. It was called Redefine. I'm not your mama's midlife. We're not the mama's midlife.
Right.
It's totally different in this generation of 50s and over. So we talked about that, and I wanted to spotlight Aisha for our sis, you still got it, and the grown woman spotlight, because I thought it was important to hear her feedback from the first episode, because she had so much feedback. And she wasn't just giving the feedback because she loves me. She's going to tell the real. As you can see, she's real on here. She's not a fake type person. But the next episode, y'all can't wait for y'all to watch it next Thursday. It's all about dating over 50 and relationships. So it's a good one. What
Look,
was
girl,
your
I was skipping those episodes like, oh, wait, I'm not ready for that yet.
This is funny. This is good. And we talk about can you be sensual in over 50. And one of the
Yes.
about their healthy sex life, like it gets good, because these are conversations where people might think, oh, well, they're not having sex after 50, or they're
Right.
not sexual after 50. So we about to change the narrative. But what was one of your takeaways from last night's episode?
I think my biggest takeaway from last night was embrace the opportunities over 50. I think just from
Yes.
the not just the subject of the show, but the fact that you are creating this show over 50 started it, right? Like, here I am over 50. I've released a book. I'm in a new relationship. I'm starting new talk shows, you know, all of that. Like, the whole takeaway was like 50 is not the cutoff. It's the beginning. It's the start. Like, I think that was the whole theme of the show. Like the fact that one of your guests was said, I'm almost 60. So it's not 50 to 60, it's 50, 60, 70, 80. Like there is no cutoff as long as you could take a breath, as long as you could say, my name is, and I know this, it's never too late. That was my biggest takeaway from the show. Like, because I felt that way about my project, right? Like, am I too late? No, never too late. Never too late. There's always somebody that needs what you have to offer, which is why you exist.
That's so
There's
good.
always somebody. It don't. So for some people, it's a million people they touch. For some people, it's one. I don't care. I don't think about how many people I touch. I know there's something in me that somebody, whether it's just my daughter or my son, somebody needs who I am.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love it. And we're going to end right there. So I want you to talk about your book, but 10 out of 10, would you recommend Grown Woman Energy, the new talk show?
12 out of 10, 100 out of 10. Yes, absolutely. There's going to be something in there for everybody. You had fashion, you had, self-confidence. You talked about that. I love the tender moment at the end, that moment of vulnerability. Like, what do you fear, right? Because we can talk about how fabulous it is to be 50, but there's some fearful stuff in 50 as well. And I think that was important to close your show with that. Like, yeah, we're on top of the world, but we're not perfect. And we do have things that we fear at this age.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that. Well, tell everybody what you're working on. I want you to promote your book as we conclude.
So I'm working on 2 projects. My major one is the My Story Journey. And this is going to be a journal that will help women over 50 tell their story. And you might say, well, if I know my story, I can just write it. But sometimes we need help and direction on how to get that story out in a quick, positive, legacy style way. And this is going to be a journal that kind of helps you with that. And then my second project is a 1-year calendar of getting yourself together. I'm going to say it just like this, getting your shit together. Get it together. Because sometimes we find ourselves flailing in the past and flailing in the things that, doing it our mother's way that may not be working for the life we live in now.
That part. Ahisha, I'm so glad that you were able to take this time.
And I appreciate you supporting me every time, Kendall, every time. My sister for life.
Yes, I love you. As I say, sisterhood is the best hood. And we got to be there for and celebrate each other's wins, losses, and everything in between. Everybody, this is Ahisha Kalima. Make sure you guys watch Grown Woman Energy. It's on my YouTube channel. Hopefully, it will be on a television near you, a station, one of your apps that you like. That's what
it's going to be. It's not hopefully, it's when. Get ready.
And that's what I keep saying. So thank you for reminding me. I keep saying it. So yes, when it is on there. So definitely go watch episode 1. It is available on my YouTube channel, Kendall Denise. It's also going to be it's in its own playlist. So if you see the Grown Woman Energy playlist, it's right under there. This will be under there also as we talk about the show. So definitely it's important, y'all, to leave comments in the YouTube comment section of the show, because that's going to be part of my proposal. I can say this many people viewed and liked it. That's going to be how I'm going to move this to the next level. So it's important. And also, if you feel compelled, you don't have to, but it's a little heart with a $sign in it. Even if you want to donate 99 cents, you can do that. Somebody donated $2 yesterday. I greatly appreciate it if you want to do that. So if you're watching from this one from Facebook, it's a star and you can do 99 cents. But YouTube, I would love for you guys to go over to YouTube, click that heart button. It's a $sign in there. It says thanks, and comment. Even if you don't leave 99 cents, that's quite all right. But comment and like it. It's important that you do that and share it out to as many people, not just the 50-olds that 49 and a half, send it to them.
Yes, absolutely. And listen, don't forget your 70s and 80-year-old. They some sassy women, let me tell you.
Oh, I got some comments too. And as you see, some of the shows, because I took to social media to ask what people thought about turning 50, 60, 70, just over 50. And I had a 70-something-year-old woman that left a comment, and it was phenomenal. My mom even left a comment in the YouTube. Said she looking for a mister. And then she put in her 70-something-year-old, so in parentheses, I'm Kendall Denise's mom.
Thanks, Mom.
That's such a mom comment. I don't know what to do with it. But I love it, everybody. Yes, I can't wait.
I'm that famous lady's mother.
Right. Look, I gave her the name Kendall Denise. It was me. That's her birth. Look, that's her birth name.
Listen, Kendall, enjoy her.
Yeah.
Every single moment is a blessing to still have her. Let me tell you.
Thank you so
I couldn't
much.
even imagine how crazy my mother would be now.
Well, she's in you. How about that?
Right, exactly. And that's it right there. I want my grandchildren to know her through me.
Yes, and
Yeah.
they will. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, everybody. Thank you for watching live. I see your live comments. I tried to put up as many as I can, but continue to leave comments in the YouTube, even with this video. It all helps. Remember, the world runs better with a little grown woman in it. God bless y'all.
Energy. Yes, it does.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Don't forget it.
Me.
Thank you.
Mwah.